Hello, it's Brian. It is the Art of Startup War. We are back and we are on another episode where lucky investors get to see one of what we believe to be one of the finest entrepreneurs out there. An entrepreneur who is building at such traction and such speed that it is literally breakneck. We had the good fortune to invest in this company. So I'm not talking to you from the perspective of, oh my gosh, you should look at this company. They're good. I'm speaking to you from the perspective of, we put hard cash currency in this company because we believe it is going to make a tremendous return for us. So I'm not telling you to invest. I'm not telling you not to invest. I'm just telling you we were damn lucky to invest. So you should listen to the diligence that I have as to why we invested. So you can hear today all about Blackcopper. Mawiwa, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Brian. I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome. So, man, you're on fire right now. And there's a part of me because I love growth so much that I'm like, oh, let's talk about the 4.5 million. Let's talk about all the growth. Let's talk about the great things. But I'm like, I'm holding back because everybody's like, Brian, can you just tell us what the hell they do? Like, so bring us back to the genesis, like right at the genesis of the idea, right at the start. Like, what was so broken and so wrong that you noticed so early that took you to a place where you're like, I'm going to fix this and I'm going to get it right. And then we're going to talk about the fun stuff that I like so much.
That's a great question. So hey, I grew up here in Nigeria. My dad was a farmer, my mom a teacher. My dad was a farmer, and my mom was an agric teacher. So we had a farm, and I realized that I didn't realize this until much later, but I realized at some point my dad's business was going on the down low. We went from having like 5,000 birds to like 2,000 to 500 till he shut down the farm entirely. But as I grew older, I always used to wonder about what happened, what was going on, and then of course I started my own career in engineering. Then I moved on into banking and finance and fintech now. And then I got talking with my dad, before he passed at the time, like, I wanted to understand what the problem was. And his point was no one supports small businesses, right? Because the traditional institutions, their legacy infrastructure doesn't allow them to support small businesses. They don't have enough data to support small businesses. They make a lot more money almost doing no financial intermediation here. And as such, everyone's left by themselves. And guess what? In Nigeria, there are 43 million of such businesses,
Wow.
right? So that take something in me. I was already working in this space at the time. I was already working in fintech. I was already doing a lot with lending, to individuals and the likes. And I said to myself, you know what? 50 years from now, what am I going to tell my children? What am I going to what will people remember me for? Right. And I said, I want it to be about powering small businesses. I want it to be about powering business growth. I want to build an organization that is true and true small businesses top to bottom. Think about what do they need to grow? Is it money? Yes, you have it. Is it support? Yes, you have it. Tools? Yes, you have it. We just want to be the access facilitator and value provider for small businesses across emerging markets.
And this is powerful because you're speaking specifically to Africa, but actually, this is everywhere in the world. Like the true freedom in life is having your own business, being able
I
to
agree.
start your own thing, like break through. And it's so incredibly difficult. And it's almost like everybody's I always wondered why at the beginning of starting out each business, everybody is so nice to me. And it's because they are in the expectation that I'm going to fail and everything else in my life is going to be so miserable that they feel like they should feel sorry for me and nice for me at the beginning. And it's the same with all business. And when you get to that stage where you're serious and you're like, actually, I now need to grow, nobody's going to help you. Like the banks are not going to help you. And actually, a lot of the folks that were nice to you before, like some are even resentful of kind of where you're looking to go to. So it's a very
Correct.
challenging, difficult path that is full of this emotional roller coaster that takes
Right.
you all over the place. And there's no structure or certainty behind it. Now, so
None.
so I don't think there's a single person on any continent, anywhere in the world, who would not 100% align. I could even tell you now, in the earlier days of Expert Dojo, many times I would have spoken to the fine folks in Bank of America and said, "Hey, gents, you think may?" They go, "No." Just, I know what you're going to say. Let me save you the airtime. Go and get yourself a coffee. You're wasting your time over here. At least you can enjoy the coffee. So, like, it's a thing that's everywhere in the world where small and medium sized enterprise have no real ability to be able to grow because the facilities are either abusive towards them as far as how they're going to get treated, or they're going to be no facilities whatsoever. So, that you got everybody on. What everybody is wondering is, how the friggin' hell did you fix this?
You know, we're fixing it. It's an ongoing thing. What we've started with is we've discovered that one, people are not just their bank statements. When a regular traditional bank is looking at you, all they usually look at the most is, oh, what financial transactions have you done in the last 6 months? What have you done in the last 1 year? You have audited financials. You're asking a small business for audited financials. You're asking, oh, how do you have your books? The guy just started. He doesn't know anything, right? He has a great idea. He has a few customers. He just needs a bit of help, right? And you're asking all this information the guy can never produce. So you're definitely not going to do anything. So what we've done is figured out how that alternate data, things about them that are very simple, like economic viability of their location, like gender, like how long they've had their phone number, like how many
Oh,
people are in their family, like how long have they been in a particular location, right? All these alternate data go into the algorithm that we've built, and then we make an initial decision. And we say to you, well, we don't know too many things about you, but we know this much. And based on this much, we want you to prove yourself to us and say, we offer you a small amount and say, can we trust you with this small amount? If we trust you with a small amount, we will increase it based on your business, right? And as your business continues to grow, we look at your business and look for other things that we think you might need to support you. Oh, do you need to register your business? We'll give you access to be able to register your business. Do you need legal support? We have 30 minutes free legal support for all our small businesses. Do you need to get collection tools? We'll give you a POS terminal, right? Because we know the more you collect, the more data we'll see about you, the more we'll be able to support your business. But you have to be consciously thinking about these guys. You literally have to wear their shoes to understand what they're going through. Because 50% of these guys would lose their business in the first 12 months. 50. And that is very, very succinct. It's so painful that there are so many big traditional banks around the world today, and small businesses are still so neglected. So we've done that by saying, okay, you think about unit economics and like, oh, well, as a bank, you need to build a branch here, you need to put people there. No, what we've done is drive everything to digital. And I think timing is very important because now mobile penetration is on the high, internet penetration is on the high. So all of these things are helping us to be able to achieve this goal. So this guy has a phone in his hand, he has internet on it. All we say to him, download the app, walk through the validation process, and you would have instant working capital. In fact, I mean, between the time we started this call, the guy would already have gotten a loan.
wow.
And that's really what we're doing. And it's democratizing access to working capital. And
Yeah,
you can go from as low as $50 all the way to $2,000.
amazing. And you're using common sense, which seems ridiculous. I'm like thinking, well, why don't you just use bias and criteria that push the people out of the market that you don't want to come into your bank, and then you can just focus on the people that you want to play golf with? Like, isn't that a better model? Like, that's the
It's
way it's been done for the last like 200 years.
200 years. That's what's been
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, it
That's what's been
is.
happening.
And these points are really, really, really important because the more you understand the psyche of the character and the more that you build a relationship which is based on what that person has done during that relationship, like really it's like marriage. You know, if you've
Yep,
got somebody who's cheating on you in the first couple of days, then just get out of there before you get married. Like it's okay. There's clues here there's going to be a problem, right? But if you get
correct.
someone who does all of the right things all the way to there, you're like, you know what?
Awful.
You've done enough. We're going to
Yep.
commit now for a longer period of time and for more marital assets that are going to be put in, including my love. right?
Exactly.
And so you're doing it on exactly the same way. But you know, the hard thing about the hard thing is that you actually have to put a lot of hard work into making the right decisions. And I
I agree.
think that's where I want to stay on just for a moment is building up this algorithm is you took the hard work on you rather than forcing it on the other person. How did you do that?
Right.
Who did you bring in from a team around you? Because it seems like that would be from I'm a numbers guy, so I love this. So like I would geek out on this stuff while other people would like think I'm crazy. But I love how it's like a puzzle, right? And you're trying to work what's the perfect pieces to put together to make the greatest puzzle. So talk us through a little bit about how you did that.
Yeah, so what we did was, we started out with a team of like 7 people, my co-founder and I. Beautiful thing, my co-founder and I, we used to work together in one of the big banks in Nigeria, one of the most profitable banks in Africa as well, Guaranteed Trust Bank, where we built out the SME version of their corporate internet banking. So you can imagine a large bank that has well over 200,000, well over 10 million customers at the time, and the corporate internet banking couldn't work for small businesses. They had a 6-page form to register for corporate internet banking. So when I got into the system, I broke all of that down. They had maybe 200 customers using the product, and I grew it to well over 22,000, right?
Wow.
My
Wow.
co-founder was the engineer that built it. I was the product manager, right? So we started our
Nice.
relationship there. Yeah. So we
Yeah.
started our relationship there. And then we went on, left the bank, we went to Flutterwave. It was time to go to the fintechs. We went to Flutterwave. He was head of engineering at Flutterwave. I was in charge of expansion and also bank relationships in Flutterwave at the time. And then we also helped a lot of small businesses. So the love for small businesses kept growing on us, in all the roles that we had before we started Blackcopper. So when we started Blackcopper as well, we just looked for people who had similar ideals, people who understood small businesses, people who were passionate about delivering value to small businesses. And today we were very happy to say, well, we have about 45 of them. We're building together, and we will continue to do the good work of helping and supporting small businesses in emerging markets.
Incredible. Where did the name come from, by the way? I love the name. And it's very seldom. I haven't asked the name of a company in I don't even know how many podcasts, but Black Copper is just a cool name because it just evokes a really good visual when you think of it.
Yeah. So, hey, the formal answer is copper is an essential nutrient
Uh-huh.
that enables living things to grow,
Uh-huh.
and finance is an essential nutrient that enables businesses to grow. Black represents strength, right? And so we like to think of ourselves as bringing financial strength to businesses,
Nice.
right? The in-house joke, however, is I'm Black, my co-founder is Copper.
No,
Yeah,
it's an awesome name and it feels strong and it feels
yeah,
good and also it's memorable and like I said, it evokes that image that something is not quite 100% right with the way things are and you adapt that and you make that better and sometimes it doesn't need to be a huge adaptation but it has to be a conscious one. So I love that you've
correct.
gone there. So okay, we got the product, your background is awesome. And for anybody who knows Africa, they know the companies that you've gone from and you've come to. Like it's badass. Like you're building your way to starting out a badass company from the get-go, right? From what you're doing. The idea obviously was great. You knew there was a huge problem. We know that there's a burgeoning small business industry. It's only going to get bigger, yada yada yada. So take me to the place where a product is built, it's in place, you go to market. Talk to me
Mhm.
about the growth since you started, and then we're going to
Right.
track that growth and how it looks towards next year as well. So we can start as investors. Because if we think about it like this, the only
Mhm.
thing that any investor wants to do, especially, well, actually in the pre seed or seed space, is get
Mhm.
you to Series A. They don't want to do anything else. Like, because once you're at Series A, you're someone
Yeah,
else's problem, right? Then they got like,
I
oh,
agree.
that dude's put like 7 million bucks in. He's gonna work really hard. It's not just me who's lost all of my kids, university fund. It's someone else who's going at it now. So they want to
Mhm.
get you to Series A. So we know that to get to Series A, it's going to be like a couple of $100,000 a month in revenue and net revenue to yourself. So
Mhm.
track us through where you came from, when you launched, how many users, what kind of maybe growth hacking techniques that you use to build those users, and how that's grown up today. And then we can move that into how that looks like to get you to the next round so that we can show investors what a great investment that this is for Expert Dojo and possibly for them too.
Great. So what, September 2020, we launched. Zero customers, day one, in the company. We closed that year with a little above 10,000 customers. And then in the following year,
How did
we,
you do that though? How did you, first of all, get the money so that you could so you could get moving, get built, do everything,
right.
you know,
Yeah, so
all of it,
we had a family and
deployment,
friends.
everything.
Yeah, we
Hmm.
had a family and friends round, where we got some equity and some debt,
Yeah,
that we used the debt for the loans and we used the equity to build the business.
nice.
And the business has been self-sustaining from day zero.
You
So
know,
all
you know you're not allowed to do that as a venture backed startup, right? You're supposed
yeah,
to
I mean,
lose money every single day for your whole life, and then have a joke about it on a panel 25 years later. Actually building a great company which is sustainable and has EBITDA and actually can grow for the future is highly
absolutely.
like that's Blackcopper. Okay,
That's black.
so
That's black
yeah,
cover.
but that's epic. Like, obviously, I'm joking because I think it's so wonderful what you're doing because this is the way strong businesses should be built by actually
Absolutely.
looking at the fundamentals, even as you're growing. So wonderful. Keep going, please.
Yeah, so from there on, we went into 2021. We closed the year in 2021 with a little over 100,000 customers, um, over $1 million in revenue for the year as well. And then we got into 2022. We were like, okay, you know what? This is going to be our year. We want to double down. But of course, we learned a lot of lessons in the 15 months, that we had launched. And then we realized that there were a few things that we needed to also continue to improve in the algorithm, to make even much better decisions, particularly because we wanted to, get a hang of our defaults and improve that and make sure that, in as much as we're getting out a lot of money, we're also getting a lot of money even back. So what we did was double down on our algorithms, improve on more data sources, and we were able to make the algorithm work even better. So what we did then was increase customer acquisition. By the end of this year, I mean, just today we've crossed 220,000 customers. By the end of this year, we expect to close the year with around 230,000 customers. We already have disbursed over 5 million US dollars, in around 65,000 loans.
Wow.
Um, we think that to get to Series A, we know for sure that all we need to do is triple our revenues, go from $1.2 million that we're going to close the year to around $3.6 million. Guess
Very,
what?
very fair.
Yeah, we have the requests to close it. We're swamped with customers requesting for loans. And these are good customers. So today, our approval rate is around 10%. So for every 1,000 requests that we get, we're only giving out maybe 100.
Hmm.
Right? Now, of the 100 that we approve, we're only able to disburse around 35. So without doing anything, we can immediately, without doing anything, double our revenues
Hmm.
just by going to the customers that we already have approved that we haven't been able to disburse. So getting to Series A for us, it's a no-brainer. And we've done this with three main pillars, right? Digital marketing, partnerships, and offline. How we've done that is digital marketing. So we do social media ads, we target the customers that we want, and SMSs. So we do a lot of digital, we do a lot of text messages. So we send a text message to a potential customer, and then we put a link in there, and then you're able to download the app and walk through the process. Two, partnerships. So we always look for clusters where there are small businesses and small business owners to surface our loans there. So if you have a platform, for example, maybe you're a payment gateway, so you have a dashboard where SMEs can go to put their products. So we've surfaced our loans there so that people, the small businesses there can easily take the loans, right? And then offline, we actually have physical sessions with markets in Nigeria because a lot of these guys, they don't have enough time on their hands to spend too much online.
Mm.
They're market women, they're traders. So we go to the markets, we go to the market associations. So these guys usually belong to associations. So we go to the market association and we say to the association, hey, we're here to support you guys. Give us your best customers. Give us your best traders. Give us your best retailers. We want to support them with working capital, and they can get the working capital now. They will get the working capital today. I don't have to go and come back. And they can do it at 12 midnight. They can do it at 6 a.m. They can do it whenever they like, and they will get working capital to support their business. And we've managed to use that. Now we've gotten to a point where we've perfected the algorithm. It will continue to improve with more data. And now we just want to double down. We really want to double down on growth.
Amazing. And then so as you grow that up, you bring the revenue up to new levels, you
Mhm.
continue to get the, I mean, as you said, with the current disbursements, that would be done by bringing in another 5 to 10 million of debt. So
Eventually.
we're not even talking really about equity here. We're just
No,
talking
not,
about
yeah,
money that will get returns directly back. And
absolutely.
I would imagine based on the current returns, what's the default rate right now for the existing ones?
No, so the story of default has been amazing for us. 18 months ago, our defaults were around 4 to 5% when we started.
Which is way
To,
below the market, by the way. But yeah,
yeah, it was below the market at the point we started. Guess where we're at today? 13. We're at 13 today, and we will continue to improve that. We think between now and the next 6 months, we're targeting 8. We're going for 8 over the next 6 months. That's where we're going. And at that point, we know that, yes, this is it, right? Because the journey from 45 to 13, it was to my bones and my blood, right? But
yeah,
but but I'm happy we've gotten there. I'm happy we've gotten it right. I'm happy we've improved it. And we've done this with a hybrid model, right? So a lot of the digital players in this space are totally just digital. They do everything digital. What we've done is we do hybrid. We have physical recovery for loans and we have digital recovery. Based on the age of the outstanding loan, will determine the channel that it goes to.
yeah. The other
If it's
thing,
immediate, go
and
ahead.
the other thing as well is that like these loans, and this is what folks need to understand when listening, is these loans will bring in like very good return that even at the previous default rates, you're still not losing.
Absolutely.
Right,
Absolutely
which is
right.
incredible. So when you bring it down to 13% or 8%, which would be incredible, like that would have you at a place where your profit margins are literally through the roof.
Absolutely. At 8% default, our profit margins will be touching 80, 90%
Yeah,
profit
exactly,
margins.
exactly.
80,
And
90%.
that's the opportunity. The opportunity
Yeah,
is to continue to hone the algorithm so you continue to make better and better decisions with the right
correct.
people taking the loans, and then those
Correct.
folks then continue to receive them and pay them back, which will
Absolutely.
provide you year on year 100% growth. Like that's what happens, right? That
Absolutely.
5 million turns into 10 million. The 10
10,
million knock off a
20.
little 8 or 10%, 10 turns into
Correct.
20, 20 turns into
Correct.
40, and then suddenly you're playing with the big boys and girls. And
Yeah.
that's where the great opportunity is because the timing for this is great. So for folks that are listening to this, it's not so much for an equity investor. Like this is for an equity investor who maybe wants both. You want to put
Yeah.
money in for equity because we'll do an equity round as well. But you're
Mhm.
also thinking, I want to get a really good return on my money.
Absolutely.
And you certainly ain't getting it over here in the US right now. I will tell you that for one thing. And then so where do we go in the future? Are we moving towards an entire financial services platform for small and medium-sized enterprise?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
We're
just
back.
just a yes, right?
We're a bank for small businesses. I mean, in the next 18 months, and we're gonna do Ghana, we're gonna do Uganda, we're gonna do Tanzania. I already have someone who's people are calling us from Morocco. Like, yo, you guys should come. Like, I met someone, I went for a conference in Abidjan. I met someone and she's like, I love what you guys are doing. You guys should come to Morocco. There's an opportunity in Morocco. I'm like, I've never been to Morocco, but hey, here we come, Morocco. So
Because the platform works, because it's the same. The principle is the same because the
it's the same.
algorithm is the truth.
It's the same. It's absolutely the same. So you just get to a new country. And the beautiful thing is we don't even need to expand the team too much for every new location. For the new location, you're only setting up collections and recovery team. Every new location, collections and recovery team. The algorithm still sits in the cloud, and we're able to plug in new data points and you just map it to the country. That's all.
Yeah, fantastic. And then so that was maybe the easiest softball ever because, like, of course, you're going to build up the greatest financial services company that the
Absolutely.
continent has ever seen because you're going to be
Ab-
doing it with the data of understanding the buying and debt behavioral characteristics of your
Mhm.
people, as opposed to just seeing if they'll just save some money with you. So
Correct.
the opportunities are great. So if we're just in the last couple of minutes now, I
Mhm.
obviously look, I love Africa. I love fintech in Africa. I love when I get someone who's such a professional, strong team of individuals that are driving forward something which is so incredibly necessary and executing on such an incredibly high level. Like I'm always looking for reasons why something is going to fail. And continually when you and I have conversations, I struggle more and more to find what that thing could be because you've just focused on so many of the fundamentals to get them right, to
Yeah.
drive it forward. And even with the unknown is all upside. So,
Mhm.
for me, man, I can't say any more great things about you. I love the fact that we invested. I'm super stoked that of what you've done. I'm watching you like growing like crazy. I mean, I'm teaching you growth hacking, you're teaching me growth hacking. Like I'm seeing the things that you're doing and how you're building. And you continually, every time we finish calls, I'm like, oh man, we should like jump back into the ambassador thing. That would be cool. And yeah, and then oh, we should like, and then build up the partners. And actually, I wonder how this can be white labeled into like there's
Correct.
so many ways to go.
So
The
many ways.
only thing you're restricted by is just it's so unfair that the world just made one you, right? If you could like do five of you, it would be sick because you can go down these things. So I think even though right now most companies go through what we think of what we call a Viking stage, which is all about outreach and it's about destruction and it's about sales and it's about branding and it's about communication. Really, those three things: branding, sales, outreach, and then
Mhm.
branding, sales, and communication, and then everything else that goes with that. And then the next period is then about investment, process, structure, procedure, and team. And I almost feel like you've raced into that second period
Oh yeah.
faster than most companies would ever dream of getting
Completely.
there, and
Completely.
that's brought the challenge of needing to make sure that you guys take a second and sit back because the world is yours to take in 2023.
Absolutely.
So look,
Absolutely. We're ready.
you got it. So I want to leave the last word for you. We need your email so that folks can contact you directly. And everybody knows they can contact me at brian at expertdojo.com if they want an introduction, but just give them your email so they can get you directly. And then also finish up with what that massively transformative um, future looks like for the company. Like,
Great.
what is
Great.
Copper in like 5, 10 years?
Great. Absolutely. Hey, my email for anyone out there who wants to reach out is muyiwa at blackcopper.io. That is MUYIWA at blackcopper.io. I'm always available, and I respond pretty quickly. Um, yeah, so for us at Black Copper, we're powering business growth. And irrespective of where you are, whenever you are, we're here to support you. That's really who we are. And that's what's good to continue to drive the business.
And what will you be in 5, 10 years' time? Like, people are going to talk about you and they're going to say, oh man, I remember when that company just started and they were just this. They were just like Amazon when Amazon were selling secondhand books online. But look at
Absolutely.
them now. Like in today's world, they represent uh what's this like equal 5 or 10 years time. You're sitting for dinner and like and they're not even talking to you. They're like having a drink and they're like, oh, we was here. See, he's over there. Man, I remember him when he was in such and such. Can you believe they've achieved this? Like, what does this look like?
We will be the biggest digital financial institution for small businesses in Africa. Biggest by every metric: assets, customer base, profit. We will be the biggest.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's exactly it. Thank you, buddy. That's it. I got nothing to add. That's exactly
Thank
what
you
you're going
so
to
much.
be.
Thank you so
That's
much, Brian.
what you're building to. Man, I love being a part of it. I'm grateful for you letting us invest in you. and I'm
Yeah, man.
looking forward to like
It's been
doing with you all
amazing
the way.
having you guys. By the way, I have learned so much, and your support for Africa is super amazing. I mean, I look at all the companies and I'm like, wow, we are actually literally changing the world. 50 years from now, we are going to be the real companies that have changed Africa.
It's true. Yeah, man. I get like the Irish government calling me the odd time, and they're like, "Hey, can you help?" And I'm like, "Man, I'm real busy in Africa right now." So, hey, but listen, I appreciate you. We're going all the way. That's all there is. And investors, take note. You heard it here. Reach out, dig into the deck, do your own diligence, like you always should do. But if you don't reach the same conclusions as me, then I'm going to start worrying about you. Okay, that's it.
All right, man. Thank you, Brian.
You got it. That's the wrap.